We're still looking at the economy, state of the nation's economy, especially as we move towards our 55th independence. Joining us to look at that this morning is a lawyer, a budget historian, and an economist, Dr. Tunji Ogunyemi. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Suleiman.
We started looking at all of these trends last week after the MPC meeting and the warning from the CBN, and looking at some of these indices that have warranted some of these warning. What exactly do you see, having followed so many of these in your writings and your research? I
think the CBN's admonition was right, well thought out, no problem. Actually,
it wasn't too late in
no,
coming.
Too late, not too late in the day. Although the CBN shouldn't have sounded very apocalyptic. However, the President of the Federal Republic himself, very early, I think on September 1st, actually warned of the possibility of the Nigerian economy going into some recession. He said that when he was meeting with the executive of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. They met with him at the villa, and he warned that it may be possible that we have some recession. So what Mr. Godwin Emefiele, the CBN governor, have done is not out of the place. Although CBN governors are not supposed to be politicians making general statements so that the economy does not go into some speculation, some problems.
You think his warning is capable of causing us any form of damage?
Yes, some concern. You know, the CBN governor is taken extremely seriously when he speaks. Don't forget, in the last 2, 3, or 4 years, we actually had a CBN governor who is actually a traditional ruler now, who was almost like a politician, making general statements. I mean, very unethical. But you cannot catch Mr. Godwin Emefiele in between flippancy and mischief. He cannot be mischievous, but he should be extremely careful in making general statements.
When you just said here now that his statement was timely,
yes.
It was apt.
Yes.
But you're also saying here that he shouldn't be a politician.
Yeah, just
so that
keep a tab on it. Yes.
So the statements he's made now, do you think they're political? Or do you think they might be leading to some level of speculation in the economy?
Politicians and the market. You know, we are running a sub-capitalist system. And sub-capitalist system actually depends on speculation. The whole gamut of the international capitalist system works on speculation. Look at what Fitch's are doing. You know, these same Fitch's that said that oil will stabilize at about $60 per barrel. Has it stabilized? So we should be careful when very powerful technocrats make statements. Yes, I agree, Mr. Emefiele has not been flippant. That's the truth. The admonition has come at the right time, but it should be well handled. The market may misinterpret it to mean, oh, the economy is in trouble. Surely the Nigerian economy is not growing, but we are not doing too badly.
How should he have announced it? I'm just wondering if the CBN governor, for instance, is saying danger ahead. How do you think he could
I thought such a job should have been left for the finance minister or the permanent secretary in the office of the
And I think that's where the CBN governor seems to be in a bind.
The CBN governor is not, it's a technocrat. He's not supposed to
No, the reason I'm saying this, because we must realize that the CBN governor, we must take into cognizance the fact that the CBN governor didn't just make this announcement. There was a monetary policy committee meeting, and it was at the end of that he read the resolutions of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, as you know, is traditionally done by the CBN governor, because it is taken.
Don't get me wrong. I didn't say that statement was wrong, and I didn't say it was not factual. It's actually factual.
No, I'm not saying
that. I'm saying that
you
we
said
should
that.
be careful how we handle it. We shouldn't overplay it.
I'm saying, how should he, for instance, have announced it without sounding alarmist, as it were? Was there any other way he could have shrouded it, perhaps euphemized it to ensure that, you know, we get the message, but we're not alarmed? That's what I'm asking. Is there any other is there euphemism for recession?
No. Oh, of course. There's a way you can put a difficult situation euphemistically in such a way that your publics, you know, the market, will not get alarmed. I'm just troubled.
Have we seen any alarm in the markets right now?
It may not be palpable now, but it's actually there is.
Isn't this also to ginger political actors to do what it is that they need to do? For instance, you just pointed out something. There's no finance minister.
No, we don't have. Yes, we have the permanent secretary in the office of the Ministry of Finance, and that can be done. I belong to the Ministry of Education. I'm a teacher in a university, and I know that the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Education has been making statements and has been making policy statements, very powerful policy statements. So there's nothing wrong in that.
But that's rightly said, they're not politicians too. They're civil servants.
No, they are not politicians, but don't forget, they occupy the position in which they could make such a statement. You see, the CBN governor is believed. Every comma, point, full stop, semicolon, in fact, his body language matters to the market, to the monetary policies, the banks, and the financial system. So such a person should show some reticence, you know, in giving statements. I still insist that such a warning was right. It was right, but we should be careful not to overplay it.
But he also gave a caveat. He said we will be headed for a recession if we do not do certain things. It was pretty clear in the areas of agriculture and manufacturing. So we do not have to go into a recession, but we can actually do certain things to ensure that we do not get there. If we do not do these things, we're going to be in trouble. Are you seeing any reaction towards the line that he's saying we need to take certain actions in?
Well, of course, I've seen some reactions. The vice president was actually coordinating some aspects of the economy of the Nigerian nation, has actually invited governors to see the possibility of actually diversifying the Nigerian economy. It is a monocultural economy, one product, almost one product economy. So the vice president actually, such an announcement really should have come from the vice president. Don't forget, politicians can be mischievous. No, I mean, that's not sounding disrespectful.
I know you have a history of sorry, Mark, but I got you there. Yeah. I know you have been following some of these historically, looking at our economy from your own viewpoint. If we try to look at what has led us to what the CBN came out with,
yes,
which is very key here, and you say, even though, well, it may send the wrong signal, it is very important that he also gives such warning.
Yes.
But how did we get to that level is very key here, so that we know if we can actually get out of it. Because the fear now is about growth, which has slowed down, and for this year, it hasn't actually improved the way we had expected it to move.
3 and 4%.
Good.
Down from 6% last year.
And that's not looking good.
That's very regrettable. Very regrettable. Actually, how we came into this extent is the 4 issues. Number 1, managing our surpluses was really problematic. When we had surpluses, people, stakeholders within the system, especially the Federation Account Allocation Committee, governors, commissioners of finance, minister of finance, decided to share what we could have used for the rainy day. Actually, you also will not blame them too much. We are on a fiscal federal system, and fiscal federalism requires that the stakeholders get what they deserve. But you have a system in which we, if you like, frittered what we had. And when I checked where we spent the money, as at the last time I checked that the government did not spend the money too riotously. We actually invested in electricity. We invested in the rail. We invested in the ports. We invested in turning around airports. And these were good investment in infrastructure. You would not say that was wrong. The only thing was that investment itself was not sufficient enough to bring in now the desired outcome. But then there's a tendency for Nigerians to be impatient too. So we have all these within us. Then there was the problem of mismanagement of waivers. The last government actually mismanaged waivers. We waived, and so that diminished the income that should accrue to the customs department. And then there was the issue of amnesty program in which we dumped a lot of money that we could not even account for. The last Minister of Finance could not really say how much we spent on amnesty. Then we put a lot of money on pipeline contracts, pipeline protection contracts. We actually had vendors to be vanguards of our pipelines. You see, those who were vandalizing it were the ones we asked to be protecting it and spending millions of dollars upon that. And of course, we also have the problem that accrued from the area of spending agencies that were, self-financing, like NNPC, etc. They spent income that they earned also without much accountability. The Nigerian Port Authority, for example, made about 162 billion and spent 160 billion out of it. Scandalous. So all these, when you rein all these in, it created leakages in the system. And that explains why the President of the Federal Republic ordered that we should have Treasury Single Account, TSA, so that all generating agencies could send their money into that, although there are some exceptions now. But then at least it has permitted some degree of prudence and accountability in the system, notwithstanding the fact that it could create some liquidity problem in the banking sector. That
liquidity problem you're talking about now, and I mean, the CBN Governor's statement was basically hinged on that liquidity matter.
Yes.
What solution is there? Is there a likely solution?
See, a situation of paralysis, I've said it on this forum, a situation of paralysis needs a shock therapy to restore it to normalcy.
But is this a shock therapy?
We have paralysis situation in which all revenue generating agencies and government are just not accountable. They spend outside of the budget. And that's actually illegal. Section 82, 83 of the Constitution actually says that is legal. So when you have such a situation, what you do is that in that situation of paralysis, of almost impunity, recklessness in the financial system, the president has the overriding authority to order that there should be some sanity. So I see the TSA, the Treasury Single Account, as a way of imposing some sanity in the system, pending the easing out of that policy later on. Of course, in their system, we have about 7 trillion naira. And government's income, that is federal government's revenue, accounts for just about 1.2 trillion out of it. So it is not all the money within the system that is being mopped up. It's only federal government's income. Don't forget, that of the state governments too are also within the banking system.
And some states are also taking back, they're also using the TSA account.
So TSA, yes,
they are adopting that system. So
only just three of them: Lagos, Akwa Ibom, and Delta. And that's explainable because if you look at it, how many states in Nigeria can actually survive?
Lagos, Akwa Ibom, and Delta.
And Delta, yes, these are the states that are trying to restore a TSA system. They don't have an obligation to do it.
I know about Kaduna State.
Well, I'm not aware of that, but I just know about these 3 states. These are huge revenue earning states.